All right, guys, we are going to go ahead and review our transformations. We talked about 3 transformations. This unit, the first one we talked about was reflections. Reflections is a change in orientation of a point or a figure. This flips the point or figure over the grid. If we have an x-axis change, that changes the sign of the y value. If we have a y-axis change, this changes the x value. Remember, it is opposite. So if you're flipping over the x, that means the x stays the same and the y changes its sign. If it was negative, now it's positive. So let's go ahead and look at some examples. Excuse me. For point A, we started at -4, +5, and we're flipping over the x-axis, which means we change the sign of the y value. So that -4 stays the same, and that -5 is going to change his sign. For number 2, we say we're changing the sign of y. Now remember, that doesn't mean negative y, that means change the sign of y. So that x is going to stay the same, that's going to stay -6. That -7 is going to turn into a +7. Now you don't have to write the plus sign, but I always write that plus sign to remind myself that I did address the change. For number 3, it says I'm going to flip over the y-axis this time. Because I'm flipping over the y-axis, I change the sign of the x value. In this case, it was a negative, so it's going to be a +4 and a +7. If we scroll on down, we'll see that it asks us to reflect over the x-axis, so I like to go ahead and highlight which one is the x-axis. In this case, the x-axis would be that horizontal line. That means my shape is going to end up somewhere down here. So I'm going to look at how far away from the axis each of these points are. So this point is 1 away from the axis. So I'm going to go 1 away from the axis and put my new point. We're going to go down 1 again, and we're at our new point. This guy is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away and put our new point. Now normally these points would be labeled. I know this example doesn't have them labeled, so we'll just pretend like that's A, B, and C. Our new shape, they're going to stay mirrored image. Excuse me, that should be point C. And that would be C prime, B prime, and A prime. Now we can go ahead and start talking about our translations. Our translations are a change in position. So our shape is going to be oriented the same way, it's just in a different physical location. This is going to slide. Let's see if I can spell that right there. This is going to slide the point or figure over the grid. All right, so to know if we're going left or right, that's going to change our x value. If we go up or down, that's going to change our y value. All right, so let's look at some examples. This says translate right 5. Right 5 means x plus 5. I have this backwards up here. My apologies. Right was positive. And down was negative. I'm so sorry for the miswrite there. I didn't see the signs. All right, so then down 3 is going to be y minus 3 because we know down is negative. So we're going to do this x plus 5. So 1 plus 5, my new ordered pair would be 6. And then -3, take away 3, you may need to use your calculator, and that's perfectly fine, would be -6. For number 5, they actually gave us those x, y coordinates, the x plus and minus. So it says -6 and +2. Sometimes they'll give them to you in the backwards order, so just be careful with that. -6 take away 6, or excuse me, -4 take away 6 is going to be -10. 8 plus 2 is going to give me +10. All right, so this is an example where they give you the words horizontal and vertical. Be careful here. Horizontal is your x value, so this is backwards. Horizontal -3 means x minus 3. So that -3 is actually going to come first, even though they gave us the directions backwards. Vertically 5 means +5. We're going to move in a positive direction, so be careful when they give them to you in a different order. 1 take away 3 is going to give me -2. And then -3 plus 5 is going to give me +2. Looking down at our example, this asks us to move x plus 2. So we're going to move on the x-axis 1, 2 units. Then it says y minus 4. That means down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can think about this as right plus 2 and down 4 units. All right, so we're going to do that for each one. We're going to go right 2 and down 4. And there's my new ordered pair. We're going to go right 2 and down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect my dots here. And there would be my new ordered pair, or my new shape. Last but not least, we're going to talk about dilations. This is a change in size of a figure. So this is where we're getting bigger or smaller. Excuse me. This is going to be a reduction or an enlargement of a figure. Whoops. Not sure what happened there. Let's go back. A reduction / enlargement of a point or a figure. If the scale factor is less than 1, it's a fraction, it's going to get smaller. If the scale factor is greater than 1, it gets bigger. Again, that just makes sense. If it's 2 times the size, it's going to be multiplied by 2. It's going to be twice the size. It's twice as large. All right, so with a scale factor of 3, that means they want us to times by 3. So we're going to do 1 times 3 and negative 3 times 3, which will give us a new point of 3 and negative 9. In this case, they want us to multiply by 1/3. You can do that on your calculator, or you can just think about it as dividing by 3. I like dividing by 3 just because that's going to be a little bit easier. I actually think this is a typo, and I think it's supposed to be divided by 1/4. So we're going to fix that and make it 1/4 very quickly. So that way these guys will be 4. So when we do 4 divided by 4, that'll be negative 1. 8 divided by 4 will give us 2. Again, we'll use a scale factor of 1/4 down here, meaning we will divide both guys by 4, like so. And that's going to give me 1/4 and negative 3/4. It's okay to have fraction answers. All right, so a scale factor of 1/2. The only way to do these with a graph is you're going to have to write out the ordered pairs. So this guy is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. So he's at negative 6, 2. We're going to cut that guy in half. Excuse my alarms. We're going to cut that guy in half, and we're going to instead go to negative 3 and 1. 1, 2, 3, and up 1. Gives us this point right here. Again, we can do the same over here. This guy is at 1, 2, 1, 2. And when we bring him down, he's going to be at 1, 1. We've got this guy at 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Which will put him at 1, negative 2. And then our last point will be right in here. He was at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when we cut that in half, he'd be at 3, 2. So that shape is getting half the size. It is much smaller. I hope this has helped you review your transformations that we talked about this week. You do have a quiz tomorrow, so make sure you study for that, and I will see you then.